Hi everyone. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Welcome to another session of SPL in which we are deemed to be solving the most recent paper that was available, and that is BIGO, right? The December 24 paper. So let's just begin with that so that we can particularly solve that paper, right? So I'm sharing the screen. Yeah. So please confirm if my screen and voice is clear. Yeah. So students have confirmed. So let's just begin with solving this first question first, right? The first question first, huh? So BOD is about to meet to discuss its current service portfolio and how it should be managed, right? And at the advance of the meeting, the chief marketing officer has sent the members of the board current service portfolio compiled by the marketing department. So you must be knowing that this is exhibit 1 being referred, right? So this is exhibit 1 being referred here, right? So the CFO has asked for your assistance in preparing for this board meeting, right? So CFO has asked your assistance if you can help him out and do something. So prepare a report for the CFO which assesses current service portfolio to determine appropriate strategies to manage the portfolio effectively, right? This time I'm solving this question on paper, right? Because on exam we have solved plenty of questions, right? If I can count, so at approx 10-20 questions we have solved on exam practice platform. So I'm assuming that you guys are aware of, right? If you want, I can solve the other requirements on the platform as well. But since this is a healthy requirement, a 24 marks, so let me discuss the further answers on particularly to the paper, right? So there's a report that you need to make. Analysis skill we have 24 marks. That means approx 12 if you're a very good student, but I would be writing at least 16, 17 points, which assesses current service portfolio to determine appropriate strategies to manage its portfolio. So a real business acumen question, right? A real business acumen question, right? And a lot of students are treating this paper as a mock as well. So it's great if you can stop here and do this paper by yourself and send it to me for marking as well, right? In fact, this will be uploaded to social media as well. So I'm there to help if in case you need it, right? So what's our current service portfolio? I assume that you have particularly got the pre-scene classes as well. In fact, I'll be adding this particular question on the pre-scene playlist as well, right? So you must get the pre-scene classes first as well. So what are the services that we have? Ride sharing. 1 in 20 of our rides is shared by customers. So every 20 rides, the one ride is shared between customers, right? It's a low cost, obviously. Shared rides were the foundation of our business concept as an environmentally sustainable transport solution. So the key focus of this is to be sustainable. However, ride sharing has not been as popular as our ride hailing service in recent years. Market growth rate is 6%. So they have given you this. In competition, Delhi is the main ride share company in B-land and focus exclusively on ride sharing market, right? So we have a competition, right? We have competition here, and that competitor is exclusively focusing on this, right? That competitor is exclusively focusing on this, huh? So its focus is environmental sustainability and has been very popular with customers aged 18 to 24 and retired. So there are two segments, those who are preferring ride sharing, right? There are two segments, one which are 18 to 24 and one which are retired, right? And over the age of 65. Now, Zenbe still offers ride sharing as a service, but like Diego, it has become less popular compared to ride hailing. The market shares are. So here are your market shares. If you remember, in the pre-seed, they have given you a greater idea of this industry, right? The greater idea of this industry. This was it, right? Like, what does ride sharing mean? Similarly, what does ride hailing mean? Then similarly, micro mobility mean, customer rentals, business services. Yeah, we have an upcoming question on the food services as well, right? We have that, but again, that's a separate requirement. For 24 marks, what you have to do, you have to focus on these services which are already provided by your company, right? So major data from this requirement would be from pre-seen and in the industry insights that you have, right? Now, ride hailing continues to grow in popularity in BLAN, okay? Customers in urban areas are increasingly moving towards non-owned transport options to access work and leisure activities. The urban population is set to increase by over 10% in the next 6 years. So the population is growing, therefore, the market rate, growth rate is greater here, right? In ride hailing, market growth rate is greater here. Now, Zenbe is the longest established and largest competitor in ride hailing in BLAN. Okay. However, Viago has grown significantly in recent years, has won a significant proportion of the BLAN's ride hailing market. So Zenbe is still ahead, but since we have grown too much, right? We have grown too much here. So guys, we are just reading the exhibit. Now we will be focusing on drafting, right? Now, micromobility is increasing rapidly in popularity, right? Driven by increasing. Yeah, guys. So, micromobility is increasing rapidly in popularity, driven by increasing focus on sustainable transportation. So, it's a trend, right? Everyone wants to uh, sustainably travel, right? In fact, I have seen on many airline tickets now that they tell that we are going to release that much CO2, which is this much less than the last flight or last year's flight. They wanted to show, right, that we are going on a sustainable manner. It is increasingly popular with younger customers. Viago has invested significantly in micro mobility, and each of the business has been discussed with you, right? Each of the business has been discussed with you in pre-scene. Then Viago is a market leader in the micromobility market. No other transport network company has invested as heavily, and the market is relatively new compared to ride hailing. So we are at the first here, and there is, I guess, no Zenbe or a very little Zenbe, right? Then business service. There has been a rapid growth in demand for business transport solutions, corporate transportation, costs have been rising, and targeting the businesses is a good business, I guess, right? Because they wanted to transport, so targeting them is a good business, huh? Then are looking to alternative transport solutions, and this is market growth at this. Again, we are on a second, and others are higher here, huh? Others are higher here, right? So the business services in market is currently quite fragmented. Okay, so it's quite fragmented. There are many business solutions available and many competitors in this market offering a wide range of business transportation solutions. Depart is a dedicated TNC provider for business service transport. And what I see is that we are focusing on every aspect, right? We haven't left the businesses in which we are behind. We are focusing on every aspect. Now, back to the question. Report. Current service portfolio you need to evaluate and appropriate strategies. Now, which model would you have been applied? So a lot of students are saying, sir, that if I don't apply the model, so is it okay? Yeah, totally okay to not to apply a model. So it's totally okay that you do not apply a model. It's totally okay that you do not apply a model. But sir, if we want to apply, then which model would have been best suited? So I guess here in analyzing different type of businesses that you offer or different types of product that you offer, right? Or what the business would have been like is, I guess, BCG metrics, right? And this is the first time that this metrics has been tested on all the papers, because I haven't heard of any question that have tested this metrics. So therefore, I wanted to solve this particular question with you guys as well, because you'll be seeing the first time this application, right? So I guess this is a very good question, and we should be attempting it definitely. Therefore, I have highlighted it, right? Therefore, I have highlighted this as well. So let's go on to drafting this. So question is Biego. I'm not solving on the practice platform. I might solve the other ones as well. But since I wanted to make notes, I wanted to share this with you all guys. And in fact, this class would be posted as well. So you must be having my number as well, so that if there are any queries, you can ask me, because most of the students would take the recordings, right? So Biago is here, right? And in Biago, what do we gonna be having? We're gonna be having the first question that you need to make the report, right? So let's do the report here. And what's that? It's two. And one more thing, guys, one more thing. Please remember that your answer and my answer could be totally different, right? This is the beauty of SBL. Your answer, my answer, I've said this in a lot of questions that it can be a totally different one, but it would be a real good one, right? It would be a real good one, and it should be a real explanatory one to get you marks, right? So it's particularly report that we need to make, right? And in report, we have two: chief finance officer. This report was the CFO, right? And then from you have a one role in this particular syllabus, and that's senior business analyst, right? Then we have date, and in date, what do we have? Whatever exam date is here, you can write, right? Now, what we are going to do, we are going to write a subject, evaluation of business portfolios in which Biago operates, right? So it's evaluation of your business portfolios in which you operate, right? So it's subject, and now let's go to introduction. So guys, introduction needs to be a fine one, okayish one, not too much lengthy. And since it's one requirement, so it would be a normal one, not that much, right? So what we're gonna be writing here is that what exactly we are going to do, right? So what exactly we are going to do, and this is an easy one, right? This requirement itself is easy one, but yeah, it's testing something that haven't been tested, so you might find it a little tough. But believe me, this is an easy requirement, right? Believe me, this was an easy requirement when I got to know about this question. And I matched the questions with the students, because most of the students after the exam, they just send me the questions that they got. So I matched it. So it's totally a real paper that they have released, right? So introduction. Now here is the following report, right? The following report will assess the portfolio of service currently offered by Biago, right? You might not be liking my writing, therefore I prefer to type, but it's for you that I'm drafting these notes for you, right? To help them determine, right? Most appropriate portfolio, okay? Analyze product lines, right? And appropriate decision making. Now you can, since we have decided to use a model, so we can say here that we'll be analyzing by using BCG metrics in which two variables will be market share, right? Which are the two variables? Market share and market growth rate. Okay, so market share and market growth rate. This will be two variables that we are particularly working on. And in fact, they have given these in the questions, right? So examiner also hinted to use BCG metrics, right? So I'll be definitely, just for your notes, I'll be writing that examiner gives that. And if examiner is giving that, so that means he wants you to do BCG metrics. So, but if I didn't pick BCG metrics, no problem, guys. You won't be getting full marks. In fact, those who pick, they won't be getting full marks, right? But still, it's easy. Once you have got a model, so it's easy to apply, right? Now, so what to do? So see, there are particularly 4 factors in BCG metrics. Just for your note, star, right, which is obviously high, right, and market share and high growth, right? Then we have question mark, or we can say problem. Now this is the model, right? Or it could be called as a problem as well. And what's that? It's what's that they have low market growth, low market share, right? And high growth. So growth is there, but we do not have any particular market share. Then we have the third one is cash cow. Now, what's cash cow? What's cash cow? It's obviously the vice versa question mark, that you have high market of that, right? But low share, market share. Sorry, low growth. And then the last one is dog. Now, that's low and low. So what you are going to do, you're going to categorize the 4 businesses in these 4 specs. In fact, the 2 can be categorized here, the 2 can be here, and these 2 can be used. So it's totally up to you, right? It's totally up to you. I've explained this model, that this model has 4 key names. One is star, one is question mark or a problem, one is cash cow, one is stock. So now what examiner wants from you is that you have to comment on all the businesses and making it whether this. In fact, if you want, you can make a business cash cow and a star as well. It's a matter that you're going to explain. But we'll be keeping it basic, right? We'll be keeping it really basic. In fact, this page is the most important one. So what I'll do, I'll just copy it and I'll just paste here, so that we have a greater idea that how we should be doing, right? So that we have a greater idea that how we should be doing, right? So you mentioned the BCG metrics, right? You mentioned market share and market growth rate. Okay, so it's totally up to you. Now, making the first one that we'll be commenting on, let's say question mark, right? Or let's say if there's a star, if there is, so let's comment on star first, right? Let's comment on star first. Now, which of the comments you guys could have been made, please let me know. I'm available for all the students, those who are taking this class live on the Zoom chat box. Else, my number is with you, so you can WhatsApp me. In fact, I'm in a manner of solving the recent papers regularly, right? So you could have solved this paper and discussed with me. You could solve the other requirements. It's totally up to you, right? Now, stars. Now, first you have to define the star, that who exactly is the star, because examiner won't be given this, right? An examiner don't know this. So the star is, let's say, services with high market share, right? And high growth in industry. This is star, right? First you define that, right? So stars are good source of cash generation, right? So it's a good source of cash generation due to high market share. A good 3 lines are far enough, right? For good market share, right? But also requires, now what stars requires, huh? A significant investment, okay? A significant investment to fight with competitors. So if you are trading in a star, so it's not at all mandatory that you will be leading the market. Any of the competitor can come and screw your market, right? Any of the competitor can come and screw your market, okay? So it is it. Now let's decide which is the star. So I guess the top one that we are, is micro mobility, and the growth is also greater. So, but it's not 15%. But guys, this is the market in which the growth is 14%, and you are the leader. So what else you want? This is your star, guys. This is your star, right? This is your star, guys. This is your star. So one paragraph, we have made a good format. We have made, in fact, let's remove this. It was just for getting you understand. So let me move it from here, right? Because it's not a professional way of explaining this model. So keeping it aside. So yeah, right. So guys, comment on micro mobility. Micro mobility is increasing, right? Rapidly, gaining popularity as well. Now think of the pre-seen data. Now let me bring the pre-seen data here as well, right? So that you could relate. So see, in fact, I remember that in my questions option that I predicted for the students, I remember that I usually told, in fact, I remember in the analysis, right? I remember in the analysis that this might be the question, like analyzing the businesses. I don't predict the BCG model, but I asked that analyzing the businesses might come also, right? So micromobility, right? Shared bicycles, which can be rented by customers. I told you the recent visit to Dubai, I had Kareem's and these bikes being standing there. You just have to scan the QR, take your bike, and your mobile will be directed the payment, right? So this is particularly the business that's top performing and top growing, right? In fact, in many countries, it's been done, right? It's been done. And main driver of business seems to be sustainable transport, right? Main driver of business seems to be sustainable transport, right? Yeah, so business seems to be a sustainable transport. And one more thing that I would be adding here, that bicycles are usually cheaper than other mode of transport, right? So this option provides a cost-friendly and eco-friendly option. Yeah, then other points is we can take from the scenario that the growth is 14% and Biago is having 62% market share. So you could also comment on it that the growth rate is high. That means market is growing at 14%. So that means it's really potential business, right? So the growth is high at 14% per annum, right? And in terms of market share, Biago seems to be having highest market, right, with 62%. Now, guys, don't forget the requirement. What students do, they forget the requirement that what exactly was asked, right? Appropriate strategy to manage the portfolio without suggesting, and then skills as well, right? Skills without suggesting appropriate strategy, how you could end up a para, right? How you could end up a para, right? So you can say here that thus business seems to be a star in BCG metrics, right? This seems to be a star in BCG metrics. And what would be the strategy? To sustain, to have this as long as it can, so that you can earn as much as more, the entrepreneurial mind, right? So 3 lines, I guess the fourth para would be fine enough, that the suggested strategy, right, is to maintain our position. You are in the business, right? So our position, okay? And to turn this service into a future cash cow, right? Because it's currently here and we don't want to get this dog. We want this cash cow, right? So we should be having a high market share so that we can earn cash as well, right? Future cash cow. For which then funds can be developed for a longer period of time, right? So see, the BCG metrics format is clear, that what is star, which business is star, how it is star, and the strategy, right? So the format of BCG metrics should be what is star, right? Which business is star, right? And how it is star, this is the format that I'll be copying across the business and across the others, right? How it is star and strategy for that. You just have to make these 4 paragraphs for the 4 businesses, and that's it. Right? Now, star is done. Then the second one is, I guess, problem, right? Question mark. Question mark are also termed as problem or problem children, which is really a hectic, right? Which is really a hectic one. So problem children and question mark. You can write name one, right? You can write one, no problem at all. You can totally write one, huh? So these are categorized. These are categorized in business, in BCG metrics, right? In BCG metrics with what are the question marks, guys, right? With low market share and high market growth, right? With low market share and high market growth, right? These are the question marks, like what we should be doing, huh? What we should be doing, that we don't have the market share, but this market is too having potential. Huh? This market is too having too much potential. Right? Now, what do we do? Huh? What we can write? Huh? These services can become stars of future, if appropriate focus is given on, right? Appropriate focus is given on. Yeah, so what is that? Now, which business? Comment on which business, huh? Comment on which business, please. So in your portfolio, considering your portfolio, what do we see as that? Now tell me, which is currently uh, a question mark. Now a lot of students are saying ride sharing. I don't think so, right? In ride sharing, we have low market share, low growth. But in here, it's a high growth and low market share. Now, a lot of students are saying that, sir, if your perspective says that ride hailing is a question mark, but our perspective says ride sharing is a question mark, so what would you think? I'll say that both are right if appropriately defined. Huh? If appropriately defined, both are right. Okay. So if you have defined it appropriately, I believe then both of the options are right and both requires good justification. Okay. So Diego's portfolio, right? Ride hailing. In Biago's portfolio, ride hailing would fall in question mark, right? It will fall in question mark as it is currently experiencing high market growth, right? High market growth, which is of 11%, right? And what else words were used? You can have a look here as well. Huh? Population is set to increase. So urban people are preferring, right? Moving towards non-owned transport options. So it's a preferable option, right? Has grown significantly in years, has won a significant portion, but still we are far, far behind, right? Market growth of 11% as customer are preferring non-owned vehicles to access to their work requirements, right? So whatever the requirements are, they're not preferring. And I also do not prefer own vehicle, right? The thing is that you have to park it, you have to take it, you have to get the penalties. So these are all are the business which are being preferred, right? So further, one point that I would be connecting here, that urban population, yeah, one of the student highlighted that, right, are expected to grow. Okay, so urban population are expected to grow. So by how much percent? If you can relate it, 10% in the next 6 years, and they prefer this, right? And they prefer this. So are expected to grow, okay, in the coming years, which would obviously be making a demand of drive hailing. This would obviously be making it, right? Now, what is that? Which business is that? How it is that? Huh? How it is that? You should be commenting on how you care about ride hailing as a problem child, or how you think that this is a problem child, or it is a question mark. How you think that? Huh? How you think? You have to comment on that, right? So I'll be saying Biego have currently a low market share, right? And Zenbi seems to be a dominating one in this market, right? It seems to be dominating one in this market, okay? By how much percent that Zenbi is dominating? 50%, or half of the market share, right? Which means half of the market is with Zenbi, right? Half of the market is with Zenbi. Okay, so has currently low market shares. Zenbi seems to be dominating in the market by 50%, which means half of the market is with Zenbi, right? So we can say here that ride hailing service has potential, right, to become a star quickly if appropriate actions are and more focus. A slight lending is directed towards ride hailing. Okay, if more focus is towards ride hailing, right? So any further points that you want to add up? Any further point you want to add? Now you can say that, sir, why we are saying it a particular problem child or question mark. See, question mark means that the company is unsure that whether to keep this, whether to make it a star, whether to avoid this, what to be done, right? What to be done. So you should be making a comment here as well. That's the ending comment of mine would be, right? Every business have potential for growth, right? Just like ride hailing. Okay, just like ride hailing. Growth is derived from getting or analyzing the need of people and making your product, right? Now, this is the commenting, the strategy. See what I'm writing? Making your product the need of people, right? Ride hailing seems to be a need for all the people, those who don't want, right, own cars, and therefore this question mark has more focused or more potential to be a star. So what I commented here is that star could go into a cash cow. What I'm trying to say, you guys, is, and similarly, the problem child could be converted into a star if appropriate focus is given on. See, the problems with these entities are that when there are many products, or when there are more products towards that, what happens is that companies doesn't focus or give appropriate focus on that much people, right? On that much product, right? So therefore, you are the one, those who are going to analyze that, sir, this product have a potential to become a star. You have to focus on, you have to do the appropriate strategies, right? Then let's do cash cow, or let's do dog first, huh? So what's dog? Huh? What's dog? Products or services having low growth and low market share are termed as dogs of business, right? So are termed as dogs of businesses, right? These services barely do break even, right? So it's really difficult to do break even and are likely to generate enough cash flows, huh? And are likely to generate enough cash flows as a dogs, right? To maintain their market share, right? To maintain their market share. Now, sir, in terms of dogs, what would you consider, sir? What you think that is a dog? So I believe that ride sharing 6%, we do not have that much market share. So considering Diego's portfolio, right? Considering Diego's portfolio, ride sharing seems to be a dog, right? Why it is a dog? Because it has a growth rate of 6%, which is lesser than other businesses, right? And Biago is also having a low market share of that as well. So based on these grounds, I believe that this is a dog, right? And similarly, the Zambi is higher, the Delhi is higher. It seems like, yeah, I would add one more comment here that it seems like, linking with the scenario, Zenbi and Delhi competing for this market, whereas Biago is having a slight, right, market share. So they are the one leading the market. You just have a slight market share, right? You just have a slight market share. Okay. So now the strategy, guys. Please tell the strategy. Now, students saying that, sir, eject from this market. It's not the viable solution. You just close. Although the business is not performing, but closing does not suffice the requirement, right? So divesting from the market doesn't seems to be the only solution, right? You cannot divest it. Huh? You cannot divest it. Only or solution, although we are not the market leaders, but it drives a significant proportion of our business. Now, connect with the pre-scene, guys. Connect with the pre-scene. Like ride sharing, our business proportion, how much is from this? Huh? So it's 12%. Huh? 12% of the business proportion is ride sharing, right? So connect it with the pre-scene, please. That is 12%, right? So divesting is not the particular solution. And one more thing, that how we started, that also matters. Huh? Let's just check. Huh? Let's just check. Mobile apps for the other organization. So I believe shared rights, right? So divesting a business from where you took the start. So that's also wrong, right? You can say, so divesting a business from where Biago took start, although it's a dog, right? May give a negative impact, right? It may give a negative impact to our stakeholders. Now, sir, please tell me, if it gives a negative impact, then what we should be doing, right? What we should be doing. We need to, since you have no answer, what we should be doing, so we need to take, right? We need to take cost analysis, right, of ride sharing, and if it's not making loss, so should be continued, right? So should be continued. as it would be supporting other businesses, right? If other businesses, right? And even if it's on break even, considering same grounds, should be continued. So it should be continued, but yeah, a costing measure should be made, right? A costing measure should be made. Guys, here, a competition is not on, I must be saying here, the competition is not on to getting the right business in the right box. It's not the competition. The competition is explaining the matter and linking it with the scenario. That's what SBL is, right? That's what SBL is. So you must be arguing that with my frame, I believe question mark is not the right hailing. It's something else. So yeah, it's fine, but you have to define it accordingly. Right? Yeah, it's fine, but you have to define it accordingly. Now, cash cow is your assignments, right? Like which business you believe is a cash cow. So the business that we are left with, I guess, it's business services. So you have to comment on it. It's a self-attempt one, right? Try to attempt it on self and then submit and follow this strategy, right? In fact, I'm awaiting for all you guys that if you submit this particular question to me and get it marked, my number is with you. You can WhatsApp me the question and the answer of it, right? Now, conclusion. How you're gonna be concluding such reports? It's totally a fine one. It's totally a fine one that you will be concluding that overall, we believe, Biago have a healthy business portfolio. Biago have a healthy business portfolio and growing with the market. So this is how you're going to conclude. And I've told this many times how to conclude it, right? However, we have to keep eye on star and cash cows, right? And star and cash cows, right? So that the cash generation doesn't stop. And also put a focus on question marks to make them as star, right? So this is how you're going to be concluding it. So guys, we have skipped just cash cow, which you have to particularly self-attempt. So our 24 marks have been done. And in fact, if we count on the points, we have made more points. Now, what you have to do, you have to attempt this particular cash cow part, right? The BCG metrics. Then you have to read examiner answers as well of this question, right? If you don't have, I'll provide, don't worry, I have. And once the examiner answer is read, try to attempt other parts, which I'll be attempting with you, right? Try to attempt other parts as well. And I'll be attempting that on a software because writing is a good one. It gives you a great idea. So therefore, I made this video for you guys, right? I'll be posting it on the social media. This is my first particular class of drafting for Crash Course. And the first time the question being came from BCG metrics, therefore attempted and posted for all of you. You can give me the feedback on the given WhatsApp number. And in case of any help is required, I'm there to help you guys, right? Thank you so much.